members there. Okay, I think we'll get started. It sounds like everybody can hear me, and if you do have your audio on, you can mute it. Also, you can turn off your video if you want, especially if you have poor performance or a slow internet connection. Turning off your video will make the stream chat here a little better there. And you'll be able to turn it back on at the end of the presentation to ask questions. During the meeting, if you want, you can type a question into the chat, and I'll try and monitor that, and Jim will help me, and we'll try and get that. And certainly at the end of the meeting, we'll cover some of the things in the chat too. The handout for this is out on the PC Club website in the past meeting files, and I believe, yeah, it looks like Jim just attached it to the chat. So if you go out to the chat, you can download the handout there also. Okay, the agenda today, first we'll cover some club status, then we'll get to our main topic. Future meetings, this Friday we have a MaxSig meeting coming up, and they're going to be covering some of the new Mac, iPad, iPhone, Watch, AirPod, HomePod, a little discussion there, and Mike's going to give some comparisons and then your questions. So if you do have an iPod or an iPhone or a Mac, it's a good opportunity to get some information there. Then next month in February, the first Tuesdays, I've been holding question and answers where you can ask any question and I'll try and answer them. And so I send out the notice for that before the meeting. So if you can attend, that's good. And then our next general meeting is Wednesday, February 17th, and that'll be on smart TVs. And we'll talk about what they can do, how you can load apps, streaming, voice assistant linking, connections to the internet, things like that with it. Officers, our president is Jim Holman, vice president is Linda Brown, Paul Ebert is our membership secretary, and our new member, I want to thank Paula for joining the team there, and she's volunteered to be our treasurer. So welcome to the board there. Chuck Scott.
Thank you, Tom.
Oh, you're welcome there, Paula. We were pleading for somebody, and thankfully Paula came to the rescue there. Then Chuck Scott is our secretary. Mike Griffin, who used to be our old treasurer, and thanks for all he did as a treasurer there, is still leading the MaxSig. And Andrew Petrucci is a communication coordinator, and my name is Tom Kreuzer. I'm a director at large. Members old and new, your dues get paid to Paul Ebert. He sends out an email before your membership expires, and there's several ways you can pay electronically or you can send in a check since we aren't getting together, but make sure you get that in. Also, if you are retiring, like Mike Griffin retired from 3M, and we had to change his email to his home email there. So make sure you let us know when you are changing your email so that we can keep in touch. If you have suggestions for topics, you can email your ideas. You can talk to any of the board members. We're always looking for people to volunteer to present on hardware and software. And if you don't want to present, we have our monthly eBytes newsletter, and you're welcome to write a long or a short article. Website, we publish the slides and handouts, and if you miss a meeting or want to go back to a meeting, we try and record them also, so the recordings usually are out there. And then we have our deals section, we have our eBytes, our monthly, and the link is sent in the email that you get for all these different things too. The PC Club survey ended in late December there, and I want to thank the 58 people who filled out the survey. I did publish the results out on the website, so if you go to the website in the past meeting files, you'll see summaries there, but we use that information to help us pick topics for the year, and also to add some content in that to some of the presentations. So I want to thank everybody for their time there, and it's it's interesting to see the different trends that we have. Okay, we'll get to our main topic here, which is cloud storage. And 1 second here, let me just check and make sure we're okay there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, cloud storage by myself, Tom Kreuzer. And cloud storage allows users to store files and share them across devices. Which storage or which cloud storage is best for you depends on the apps that you use, the devices that you use, the kinds of files you store, and whether you plan to collaborate with other people. So there isn't a one-size-fits-all, everybody should be on this platform and that's all you need. It unfortunately is a little more complex. Devices have been steadily moving away from local storage, be that local storage on your laptop, your desktop, your phone, your tablet. They've been moving away from that to the cloud. And part of the reason that it can move there is we now have faster internet connections and connectivity almost everywhere. This is, people will say, well, I don't want to put anything up on the cloud or that. And I tell people, you already have stuff up on the cloud today, because like it or not, if you're doing almost anything on a computer and a phone and stuff like that, you've got data that's up in the cloud, and chances are you're already using some of these services. And we'll talk about that later. So what are some of the benefits of cloud storage? Well, the biggest is the syncing or moving between devices and users. Excuse me. In the old days, we used to send emails with attachments, or we'd physically have a flash drive, a CD, a DVD, and even an old floppy disk. And that would be the way that you would give a file to somebody, or you'd take it home, or you'd do things. That was the only way to do it. Another big benefit of the cloud storage is multiple devices are supported. So in the old days, maybe you only had one desktop at home, and so having all the files on the hard drive, that was all you needed. But now most of us have multiple devices, and we want to be able to get access to these different files and to these different capabilities, be it on a PC, a Mac, a laptop, a tablet. Could be stuff that you work on at home or at work, all these different places. Another big benefit of the cloud storage is sharing and collaboration with other people. So it can be with multiple people, can be with work, the people you work with, your friends, your family, or the entire world. You want to publish something out to the world. And we'll talk a little bit about the content, whether it's pictures or a document or you name it, all kinds of things that can be shared. Another benefit of cloud storage is backup or versions. And this is in case the original is lost, destroyed, stolen, or you accidentally overwrite it with something there. So it provides off-site storage, and we'll talk more about that when we talk about backup. Another benefit of cloud storage is the unlimited online storage. So many of the new devices that we buy have limited storage. Some of the laptops come with a solid-state hard drive, and it's a small hard drive. And the assumption is that you don't need a large hard drive on these devices or a large disk space there, because you're going to be accessing your stuff off of these cloud services. So be it a laptop, Chromebooks, phones, tablets, you don't need as much storage. And having access to these online systems will give you unlimited storage. Oh, well, I think somebody must be calling me about an extended warranty. I'll have to get back to them. Okay, device support. So almost any device, large or small, can connect to this cloud storage. And that can be a PC, can be a Mac, can be a tablet, can be a smartphone, can be your home smart devices, could be work, could be your TV, could be just about anything can start connecting to this cloud storage. So that's a major benefit instead of just having it locally on one device. Many include a program or an app in addition to identifying folders and files. So if you already have, most of us have a smartphone and tablet, some of those apps that you're using are already using cloud storage to back up photographs, contacts, messages, email. Just about everything is stored on the cloud nowadays. But in addition to what the apps have, you may be able to identify additional files and folders if you've got those on some of your devices that you want to back up. Devices usually support either an automatic backup where they're automatically backing up and syncing, or scheduling where you can back up. So that's both for updates and syncing there. Sharing is done with email links to collaborators. Also, some of the systems let you subscribe and be notified when somebody makes a change or adds a file or that. So there's all kinds of ways that this cloud storage can let you know what's happening to the files that are important to you. Okay, this always comes up when I talk about cloud storage. Is some people are very concerned, and rightfully so, about cloud security, and they're worried about, well, if I have it on my hard drive, I just feel more comfortable than having stuff up in the cloud there. And before entrusting your data to the cloud, people do want to know that their information is going to be stored safely. To keep data secure, cloud systems encrypt data. So if you looked at a file up on one of these cloud services, or let's say I'm using Google, and it works for all of them the same way. If I look up there, it has to unencrypt the file for me to be able to do anything to it. And so somebody at Google actually does not know what's in my file. They have no idea what's in my file because it's encrypted. And so an employee at Google cannot look at my files and see anything. This is an important point, and I'm willing to bet anybody if they think that I'm wrong, which in this case I'm not wrong. No cloud storage has ever been hacked. People's files have been gotten into up on servers, but the way they've gotten into those files is they've broken in using the person's account and weak passwords. So if you have a weak password, or there was a hack a year ago with the credit card services and your password was exposed and you haven't changed the password, yes, your online storage can be gotten into if the people have your account and password. I mentioned here cloud data is safer than your locally stored data for 99% of the people. So people think, again, where I was talking about, well, I'm going to keep it on my hard drive and it's going to be safe. If I put it up on the cloud, somebody's going to hack it. Well, hackers can more easily get your data on your local drive than they can off of these cloud services. So because of viruses, because of non-secure, the way people have things set up. So cloud services are very, 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 very safe. They're very well protected and encrypted. Okay, what are the different types of clouds? Well, you have three different types of clouds. The first type we'll talk about is private cloud, and that's solely for a single organization. So like 3M, 3M has a private cloud, and they're managed internally or by a third party, and they're hosted either internally or externally. They're usually only available to trusted users on a trusted network. So these private clouds can share data and stuff like that, but they're mainly set up for a single organization. And so they aren't exposing their stuff outside of that. The second type of cloud is called a home cloud. And this is a type of private cloud, and this is set up and controlled by you on your home network. So many of the Wi-Fi routers today, and here's a picture to the right here of a sample Wi-Fi router here, and it has a USB connection, and I can connect an external hard drive here. So they have a port, the external drive is attached, and then you can log in here and you can manage this and share it locally to your everyone on your home network. So instead of buying a lot of backup for one device, you can put your large hard drive here, and everybody's laptop and desktop and phone and stuff like that, you could be sharing those and backing them up in your home network there. So that's a way to do it. It's also possible in the past, starting I think with the Windows XP, so a really old version, Windows XP lets you share your drive and folders. But that mechanism and that security, I don't recommend using that. This is a much easier way to manage it and a much more secure way to manage sharing hard disk space amongst users in your family or in your home network. The third type of cloud is public cloud, and this is the cloud hosted over a network, usually the internet, that is open for public use. So security is the difference between a private and a public. So this means that a private cloud, you could set it up so that nobody outside of a certain TCP/IP addresses and stuff like that can ever see any data or access any data. Whereas a public cloud, like we're going to be talking about, those you could share with other people. You don't have to share with anybody. And again, if you don't share with anybody, your data is not going to be, nobody else in the whole internet is going to be able to do anything with your data at all. But if you do want to share, this is where the public cloud makes it available that you can turn on sharing, and you can literally around the world, you could have people collaborating and sharing files. Okay, mentioned backup a little bit earlier, and distinct from but overlapping cloud storage is online cloud backup. So yes, you can use the cloud for backing up. Some of your data is already backed up in the cloud. So when you use Gmail or you use Hotmail or you use Yahoo Mail, whatever mail you're using, that's up on a cloud server. Your calendars, your contacts, if you're using Chrome and syncing your bookmarks and things like that, that's all up on cloud servers and are backed up. Phone configurations. The iPhone backs up configuration and apps and things like that up to their cloud. A lot of us have photos and videos that are backed up and shared with others. So we already are doing some of this for a narrow slice of what we do on the computer. Most is done automatically by the apps that we use. This is a little tip I recommend because a lot of people aren't aware that your text messages by default are not backed up anywhere, and they're only available on your phone. And if by chance your phone was stolen or destroyed, a lot of people end up losing all their text messages and attachments that were sent. Well, this little app will take those messages and actually put them in your email account so that if you wanted to restore it on another device or look it up, you'd have them available. So that's the little tip I recommend there. Cloud backup can work on all of your computer files, not just those in a synced folder. So there's ways to back up, and I'll show that at the end with a little demo there. You want to make sure that you're backing up anything that you would regret losing or that you can't replace. You don't have to back up the entire hard drive because that has the operating system, it has software on it. All of that could be reset up if you did lose it or have a problem there. And most of this backup is done with syncing, and that's usually done in real time, while backups are done on a schedule. Once a week, once a day, once a month, you're backing up. And if you are interested in backup, I'm not going to cover too much of that today, although certainly when I show some of the stuff, you can use that for backing up. But there are software for backing up, and here's PC Magazine has a list of backup services that you can use, and these do cost money because there's storage to be bought and the backup software itself. Here's also a link to some free online options. And this I think Jim has covered before, and when we presented backup. Be sure and use the rule of 3 or the 3-2-1 rule. Have at least 3 copies of your important files, the original, a backup, and a backup of the backup. The backup should be at least in 2 different devices or services, and at least one of those devices or services should be an off-site location. So cloud storage fits very well into this. Doesn't mean that you rely on just cloud storage, but cloud storage can be part of your backup strategy. And this I throw in there, don't be a hoarder of files. I know people that never delete files, never delete emails. They keep stuff forever, and they've got gigabytes or terabytes of stuff that they're never going to look at and they're never going to use and don't need. Be selective of which files you keep. Delete files, because frankly a lot of stuff can be deleted. You don't have to keep it forever. And if you're taking photos and you use burst mode, keep the best photo, get rid of the other ones. So that's just a little one of my deals of don't keep stuff forever. Okay, let's look at the major cloud storage providers and a little comparison. Some of these services are better for synchronization. Some are better for collaboration, media playing like watching video or slideshows or things like that. Some are better for backup. Some of them are better for device syncing, and some are better at sharing and viewing. The nice thing is all of these services, and most all of even the ones not included here, offer free versions that you can try before you commit to paying so much a year or so much a month for storage there. So by all means, try out the free version and see if it meets your needs. And if you do have more things to store, then you can buy a larger quantity there. So we'll take a look here. I mentioned these are the most popular services: Google, Microsoft OneDrive, Apple iCloud, Dropbox, and Box. They all have free storage, 15 gigabytes for the Google Drive, 5 for OneDrive, 5 for the iCloud, 10 and 5. And then if you need more space or have more files, that's where you can purchase. and you can see the prices go up depending on the size there. Also, it's a case, so like in Google, $20 a year, $30 a year, $100 a year. The Microsoft, if you need space or want space, they tie it in with the Office 365, so you can get a terabyte of space and Office 365 for a year for $69. So, and there are other levels. I'm just trying to show a few of the different options here, but it gives you an idea of what's available out there. Here's a little more detail on some of the services. So Google has what's called Google Drive. You get 15 gigabytes for free, and that used to be their only offering. You could then purchase additional space on Google Drive, but in the last 6 months they've come out and separated it out. The free side is still called Google Drive. The paid, if you need more space, is called Google One. But with Google Drive, you get free collaboration and integration with the Google tools. So things like Google Docs, Google Slides, and that are very well integrated. Includes desktop to desktop file syncing, many third-party integrations, cross-platform apps. If you use Gmail, you already have it. So if you have a Gmail account, you already have a Google Drive account. And this I mentioned, starting June 1st, 2021, if you store photos, and I had mentioned before in previous meetings about using Google Photos to back up your photos from your smartphones and from laptops and things like that. Starting on June 1st of 2021, new photos and videos that you back up in high quality will count towards your free 15 gigabytes of storage space. Right now, at the high quality level, you can have an unlimited number of videos and an unlimited number of photos for free. But starting after June 1st, there will be a cost, and so if you are going to put a lot of things up there, you may have to subscribe to one of the levels there. And this is the levels start with Google One, and they're the paid levels above 15 gigabytes. And paid levels above 15 gigabytes, in addition to you being able to share them with family members, they come with additional apps and additional services. So that the different levels, some of them provide backup automatically, and at the $99 level, you actually get a VPN that you can use for your Android phone if you want. So there's some additional features that you get. The Microsoft offering is called OneDrive. It's the default online storage and syncing for Windows 10 and Office 365. It offers a wealth of powerful features as well as apps for more platforms than any of its competitors. If you subscribe to Office 365, as I mentioned, for $69 a year, you get 1 terabyte free. Other plans have other options. For the Apple, so if you have an iPad or iPhone or a Mac or that, chances are you're familiar with this, the Apple iCloud. It's a must-have if you have any of the Apple products, as I mentioned there. For additional cost, you can set up family sharing, and I put a link in here of how to use the iCloud. So if you are interested, there's a little link there. It doesn't quite measure up to Google or Microsoft for Office tools because the tools aren't as robust as what Microsoft has, but it does offer some tools and some collaboration. Dropbox, many application integrations on almost any device. It's mainly used by businesses. So this is one of the early services, and it's still being used by businesses to share and put stuff out securely. It is expensive, but it certainly provides a service there. Box, similar type of deal, securely send and share large business files. Very good at collaboration. with reviews, notes, discussions, tasks, and version control. It does lack some of the collaboration offered with some of the other services. Then I mentioned a couple of others here. If it's just photos and videos that you're looking for, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you get free full resolution unlimited photo storage, but only 5 gigabytes for videos. So you can utilize some of that if you want. Non-Prime members, 100 gigabytes is $24 a year, or 1 terabyte for $84 a year. If you're into photography, a good option is Adobe Lightroom, and that's gives you state-of-the-art photo editing tools with 1 terabyte of storage for $120 a year. You can upgrade to the Professional for $240 a year, and that adds access to Photoshop and Lightroom Classic. Okay, some issues or tips. 3M security regulations. Make sure you're very, very careful with 3M files. Don't be sticking them out on these public drives. That's why 3M has its own private cloud, and that's the way that they manage it. So use the online storage that 3M has. Don't rely on this other stuff to store it. If you have questions, call 31000. Don't expose any 3M files. This I mentioned, internet connection speeds are usually slower to upload files than to download files or data. Example, my old DSL, CenturyLink DSL, was 5 megabits down and 1 megabit up. So 5 times slower to upload than download. So at that time, because we're talking megabits, not megabytes, it took about 15 minutes to upload 100 megabytes of files. Now I have CenturyLink, a fiber connection with almost 1 gigabits service there, and you can get that. Anyone can get that for $65 a year by talking to CenturyLink if you have fiber in your neighborhood. But that'll do the upload. And that's 1,000 times faster. And that takes about 1 second to do 100 megabits. So you can see the difference in speed, and so you can see the difference in speed that you get with some of these services out there. Okay, let me go back here. So most of the services that you use are smart enough to upload what's called incremental file changes. So in a lot of cases, they aren't having to upload the entire file, and they'll keep track, and that'll cut down on your bandwidth that you're using. But again, if you have a lot of files and even videos and stuff like that, you want a fast connection. I mentioned this, set and use the security available on the service. So a lot of these services, well, all of them have security, and you can identify who has access and things like that. And you want to make sure you understand that. When you upload a file, is it available for public, or is it somebody has to have an account on that service, and then it validates that they have a valid account and password on that service. So make sure you utilize the security for the cloud storage that you're using. For confidential files, you can actually add an additional layer by encrypting it on your desktop or laptop before the file is uploaded. So that's kind of a double encryption thing if you're really want security there. This I mentioned, this is true of, we've talked about Wi-Fi connections in general. If you're at a public coffee shop and it's not using security there, if you're doing uploads and downloads, you're exposing your data to anybody that's connected to that Wi-Fi. So make sure you're on a secure Wi-Fi, and Now, if you're using a 3M laptop, you have a VPN, and that adds another level of encryption and connectivity so that you're protected that way. Some other tips or issues. Most cloud storage support version logging and restores. What I mean there is, unlike most people's backups, their backup may only keep one version of, let's say, a Word document. Well, if I use Google Docs, I can get back to any of the versions or any of the updates that I've made. So if I want to go back a week ago or a month ago or a year ago, I can get back to that version. This I mention if you, and this is more for some of the people buying a new laptop today where they have a very small hard drive. Windows 10 comes with a feature called Storage Sense, and it can free up space on your hard drive by moving files to OneDrive. So it can scan your hard drive and upload files you haven't touched in. You set the limit 1 to 60 days, and it'll leave a link on the hard drive. And that can be set so if you have a solid state hard drive and you're running out of space, and this is an option in Windows 10. I mentioned here, never rely on just a single cloud storage service. So the stuff that I create up on, I use Google Drive and I use Microsoft OneDrive. I also back that stuff up locally. So if something ever happened or that, I do have backups of everything. The rule of 3. Okay, let's take a quick look, a couple of screens here from the Apple iCloud. So if you go out to www.icloud.com, this is the screen that you'll get. At this screen, I can create new documents. That's what these pages, numbers, keynotes are for. Also access to mail there and stuff like that. But you'll also have the iCloud Drive. So if I want to see what's currently being backed up or what's out on my iCloud Drive, just go out here, log in, and you can go to your drive. And when you go to your drive, you're going to see a screen like this. It's going to list the folders that you have and the files that you have. And at this point, you have options up here for creating new folders, uploading files. This is all manually. I could manually upload and I could manually download. I could delete files out here, and so I can do the things there on the Apple iCloud from this screen. This is the Microsoft OneDrive, similar to the iCloud that we just took a look at. If you go out to onedrive.live.com, it shows me my folders and my files that are out here. I can upload, I can download, I can delete, I can move, I can rename. So you can do the normal things that you'd do out there. And this is the Google Drive, so drive.google.com. Similar type of deal. I'm showing a different view here, but you have folders, you have files, you can delete, there's ways to upload, there's ways to create new ones. And so we'll take a look. Let's see if I can stop that here. We'll take a quick demo of that, of the Google Drive. And what I'll do is I'll open the Chrome browser here. In the Chrome browser, I'm at the Google search screen, but I am logged on here with a 3M PC account, Google account, the MMM PC account here. I'm logged on. One way to get to the Google Drive is if I go up to the dots up here. This is a list of a lot of the Google apps or software. And you can see in here there's one called Drive. This is the Google Drive. So if I click on this, I'll be taken to the Google Drive. This is the folders. This is files. I can change the view up here. If I didn't have that many folders or files, I might want to use the larger view, but I'm going to go back to this view. And so this is the view of the files out here for this Google account. And I mentioned if you have a Gmail account, you can go out to Google Drive and you'll see that you have 15 gigabytes of space. That space, that 15 gigabytes, is shared with your email, so your email counts against it. We don't see the email files here, but your emails do count against it. Google Photos, if you use Google Photos, that space, if you use high resolution of saving files, that space counts against your space. So this view is just showing you kind of the files and the folders that you have done. It's not showing some of these other services where you have stored stuff up on the cloud there. Okay, so I mentioned Google has its word processor, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Forms, Google Drawings, Google Maps, and some of these files are actually, so when you did the PC survey, you were using the PC survey form, and that form, when you completed the survey and submitted it, was updating this Google Sheet and putting stuff in here. And so I'm just going to open it quickly here. So all the people that did respond there to the 3M survey there, this is where all your answers ended up going into this spreadsheet here. And so any document, any spreadsheet, any web form, all of these things are stored out here, are stored out in the Google Drive and that. But I can also store other files too. So if I go into this draft here, here's the handout for today's presentation. Demo Cloud Storage 2021. I uploaded this. If I open it up, we can take a look at it. And this is the handout for today's meeting here. And this is a Word document. The nice thing about Google is it lets you both view and edit Microsoft documents. So if you don't have an Office 365 or that, this is one way of viewing and working with them there. So this is an example there of what you have. Also, I can create a brand new document. So if I go over here to New, you'll see here's Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and let's do this. We'll create it. And I'm going to give it a name here. We'll call it PCC Demo. Excuse me here. And we'll just stick a little text in there. So created a document there, and you'll see it shows up here. Again, I could delete it, I could rename it, I could share it with people, I can do things here. And this, like I mentioned, if you have a Gmail account, anyone can do this right now today. So you do have that. Let's see. Now, the fact that I created this, if I went to my phone right now or a tablet, I'd be able to see this file, I'd be able to edit this file, I'd be able to update it on all these other devices because, again, it's out on the internet, it's stored up there, and it's available on all the devices there. So that's what this Google Drive is providing. Now, if I want to do backup and syncing between my laptop and Google Drive, so this cloud storage, I can do that. In order to do that, one of the things is, let's go here, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to search for Drive Download, the Google Drive Download. So we'll go to this page here. And this is the Google Drive. Access and sync your content from any device. So if I want to actually download it to my laptop and synchronize the files on my laptop and the Google Drive internet service, I can do that. In order to do that, Google has available software that has to be installed. So if you have, let's go down here. They have it for Android phones, they have it for iPhones, they have it for Macintoshes, they have it for PCs. So you download the software and you'd install the software. Once you download the software and install it, it creates a folder down on your PC there. And that folder is a folder that's going to be synced. It also installs software so that if I go down here and pop this up, there's this little cloud down here. Little cloud with an arrow in it. And that's for backing up and syncing. Google there. And it last updated itself 2 minutes ago. I'm going to click here. If I click here, it opens this. So this tells me this is the account that it's syncing with that we were just looking at up there. Also, I can go to settings here and go to preferences. And when you install it or even after the fact, I can go in here and I can tell it which files and folders I want to have synchronized or backed up. So I can identify any number of folders. I can choose folders and add folders to keep track of backing them up and syncing them between my different devices. And I'm going to cancel out of there. I am going to open it back up here. If I click on this, it opens up an Internet Explorer window, and it's going to take me to the folder that is shared between the Google Drive, where it should be opening up here. Why? Let me try it again here. If I go over here. There we go. I must have clicked wrong there. So this is a directory that part of the install created. It's called Google Drive. It's locally on my hard drive on this laptop that I'm using for the presentation. And you can see it's mimicking the exact folders that are up on the Google Drive. So up on the Google Drive, we had created a new file and we had these files available to us there. So if I go into this draft directory, there's our PCC demo file there. Now I can go into any of these. Let me do this for the sake of a simple file. I'm going to go in here and change this file, and we'll just add demo 121 or 20. Okay, and we'll save it. Also, what we'll do is I'm going to make a copy of this file, and we'll just call it AAA text. So now I made a change to this text file, and I made a brand new file called AAA text. Let's go back to our Google Drive. Let me close that. So we're back at our Google Drive, and we can see that it just synced itself, and there's our AAA text, and here's our text tag. Let me open it up. And there's our change that we made. So almost instantaneous, whether I change it up here on the internet, add a new file, delete a file, make a change to a file, or I change it on the laptop, I can change it in either spot, and it's being updated in both spots there. So that's kind of the beauty of the synchronization and backup feature there. So let's go back here. Also, if you've noticed, these icons look a little different here than a normal Explorer here. This is because if the file is being also managed by Google Drive, it ends up with this check mark when it is in sync with what's up on the internet. There's also options if I right mouse click in here. There's options for me to share, to view on the web, to copy the link if I wanted to send an email. So there's ways of doing things there. If I look at my other files on this laptop, so let's go to the Documents directory, you'll see there isn't the check mark on that. It's only the files that are synced that are showing there. So that's the way Google Drive can work there. Let me go back here. Okay, that covers the demo. What I'll do is I'll stop sharing here and we'll see if there's questions in the chat. And if you do have a question, you can unmute your audio and video and you can ask a question. So let me do this. And I'm going to stop presenting there. And we'll go see, let me bring up the chat here. I see we have some questions. And let's see, let's start at the top here. Where am I? Okay, the first one, Chris Bertoy mentions OneDrive is a 3M solution. So yeah, the Microsoft, and that's in a private cloud that 3M has set up. Jeff asked, because I made the comment, and I specifically made the comment in there, fiber is $65 a month. If you call CenturyLink and tell them you want the $65 for life price, you can get the $65 price per life for 1 gigabits per second service. Now that's without that's with having your own Wi-Fi router and signing up for monthly automatic billing. Yes, everyone can get the $65.
But the correction there is that is the per month price. The handout in the PowerPoint said per year.
Oh yeah, excuse me there. Yes, that's my mistake there. It is $65 per month there. Okay, Bonnie, when files are deleted in one place, original, are they automatically deleted in the cloud? Yes. So if I can, just as I created a file and updated a file, that synchronization will update or delete the file in both places. Now the advantage of the cloud is I can go back and undelete the file that I deleted there. So I can get back my deleted files there. So similar to your recycle bin on the PC, up on the cloud you have almost a similar type of deal there. Okay. How do you know how much space you've used on your Microsoft Cloud account? It shows on one of the screens, or if you go into your account, it shows there. I don't know exactly. Just Google it and it'll tell you there. There is no login to get to my Microsoft Cloud files. Where are those settings? No, it's you are logged in because what you did is you set up your Windows 10. When you get in, you set up the Microsoft account and you put in the password. And so if you have that set up, it's using that information to connect to that cloud account. You can always log out and log in with a different Microsoft account, but by default, if you used your Microsoft account to log into Windows 10, it's using that to log into the Microsoft OneDrive. Okay, Bonnie, downloaded large file on Chromebook to Google Cloud. Want to view it in Windows based laptop. How can I see? Well, I have to. How can I see that file? Will I see it if I install Chrome browser? I'm not sure what you're asking for there. Uh, you can have any size file I can put up on the cloud that I have space for. Whether you can download it depends again on the device. You have to have sufficient storage on that device to download it, but you can download it, and if you download it, then you need an application that's able to open it. If you don't have an application or that, you aren't going to be able to do things. So I guess that's where I'll leave it. If you have another question or want to ask, that's fine there too. Okay. Do we? Looks like that's maybe the end of those. Paul, did you have a question or?
Another one just came up on the chat.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I have OneDrive with 5 1 terabyte accounts. Can I use 1 terabyte for my desktop and another terabyte for my laptop? Seems to default to only 1 terabyte on both. I'm not familiar. You'd have to check with Microsoft. Microsoft, as far as I know, you're buying licenses for Office 365, and that comes with space. So if you bought a license for Microsoft 365 with the ability to install it on, let's say, 5 different devices, all those devices are sharing the same space. So you'd have to individually buy a Microsoft 365 account for each of those and log in with a different Microsoft for each of those to get for each of them to have their own. But for a family, usually the way that you do that is share the 1 terabyte is to create subdirectories. And so this is the subdirectory used by this family member, and this one uses this, and you segment the space that way if you want. Okay, Bonnie asks, can Google Files be stored on the Microsoft Cloud and vice versa? That would be a whole. We've had a meeting before talking about Google Docs and Google Sheets and that. Those files only work with the Google products. What you can do is I can create a Google Doc like I created today, and then I can save it as a Word doc. So I can download, and when I download or save, I can save it in a different format, and then I could use it on one of these other services. But by default, Google Drive file or a Google Sheets file, unless you download it and save it in a different format, is only, you can only edit it and view it using the Google software. Okay, Dan asks, let's see. You could then share the Office 365 with 1 terabyte with other accounts. Okay.
Go up, go up a couple. Because he's explaining how, yes, if you have, as you were saying, if you have the multiple accounts, then you get 1 terabyte per. And then once you have that, you can share.
Yeah. Whether it's Google or Microsoft, we mention in there the collaboration and the sharing. So once you have files or directories or that out there, you can choose to share with other accounts. So as an example, the PC Club accounts, I share that with my private Google account. So I don't have to keep logging in and logging out as a different user when I want to upload files or edit files or change files. I log in with my private Gmail account, And because I've set the sharing for the PC Club account to allow me to edit and to maintain these files, I don't have to keep logging on and logging off, but yet I'm accessing the PC Club's account there. So if that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Then I see John here with some Microsoft 365 accounts. You can share subscriptions with 4 others. Yeah, and there's different types of accounts there. Some are a single device, and if you haven't used 365 and you've only used in the past some of theirs where you could install it on multiple machines, they do keep track of the number of users and the number of machines. So when you now buy Office, you are limited on the devices that you can install it and the accounts that can use it, and you have to purchase enough licenses or accounts for what you want to do. Okay, other questions? Okay, looks like we're at 12:33. So if there are no more questions, we may wrap up the meeting there. If you do run into any, we'll have our question and answer February 2nd, or send an email, or leave a message out on the website. So there's different ways that you can do things there. But if you haven't used cloud services before, you'll see that some of them you're already using them. You just didn't know that the services that you were using or the apps that you were using were putting things out there. So hopefully this will give you a little more information on being able to use this stuff there. And certainly try out with the free account. Make sure that it does what you want and is easy to do. And then if you do need more space, that's where you can upgrade.
Tom, this is Linda Thomas.
Sure.
Can I throw in one quick question while my brain, I think, understands it now that you gave me new information to contemplate? I have Windows 10 set up on 2 different laptops. Each of them shares one of my 5 potential account possibilities with the 365. So if I understand you correctly, does that mean each laptop has access to its own separate 1 terabyte, I think it is, on OneDrive in the cloud?
It's a shared 1 terabyte amongst the 5 accounts. Because those are what you're buying depending on what you bought. It sounds like what you bought was the 5 license. The 5 license just gets 1 terabyte for the combined five devices or accounts that are used there.
But doesn't each device have its own separate identity to be defined as a separate account? Even though they're doing identical things and they're syncing with each other.
The way Microsoft is selling that is Microsoft is selling that as a family package or as a business package. And
so
that's a shared account.
Accounts. Okay, into one shared one.
Yeah, because if you want individual accounts, you can buy individual accounts, but those are separate.
Okay.
Microsoft is trying to make it easy for people to load. They understand that people have a desktop, they have a laptop, they have a wife, they have children, so they're trying to make it easy there for people there.
And then it's automatically synced between the different devices then that are sharing that account. You
have to choose how you want things synced. By default, it'll just be out on OneDrive. OneDrive, you don't have to sync to a laptop. You can use OneDrive without any syncing to a laptop or a desktop.
because my ultimate destination is OneDrive, and it doesn't matter who's requesting it. We're all ending up in that same place.
Yes, it's all going
Okay.
up to the Microsoft server, and you're all seeing the same files, and you're updating the same files there.
And then again, if I understand correctly, if I send some files from one laptop up into the cloud, that gets replicated on the other laptop copy of that file because the two laptops sync with each
Only
other,
if you
right?
set up synchronization. I
Yeah.
usually don't turn on synchronization because I didn't mention in the presentation, but for those that are still here, I typically do not turn on synchronization or this cloud. Where I was showing the Google Cloud, there's an equivalent service for Microsoft, the Microsoft OneDrive. That slows down your computer. I don't like slow computers. I want to be in control. I choose not to use their software that's monitoring all the files and uploading and downloading files all the time. I know where my files are. I know when I want them uploaded and downloaded. I'll take care of it myself. So you don't
In the
have to use
meantime,
the synchronization. And like I said, if you start out and you create a Word file and you just store it up on OneDrive, all your other devices through the internet can connect to that file up on OneDrive. They don't need the file down locally on the PC.
okay, I guess we can do this offline, because now my question would be, if I edited that file on one laptop and made some changes
No,
and the
well,
default was,
Linda, when you
yeah.
if you don't set up the synchronization, when you go into Word and make a change, that change is stored on the Microsoft server. Any device that connects to the Microsoft server is going to see your change. It's not stored on your laptop. You don't
Is
have to store it on the laptop.
okay. See,
You
that's
can
a side
save it and you can put
conversation
it,
then.
and
Yeah.
because it's up there, it's available to anyone with the proper security. And we can
Well, my
talk more if you have
background
other
right here,
questions, but
when I've got this smartphone leap coming up and we're talking about syncing and then directing all things to
well,
clouds.
and that's an excellent example. Let's say if you had a smartphone, who wants to use all the space on their smartphone to download files?
I
And
don't.
and who
I
wants
wanted
to
to make a phone call.
what's that?
You know that conversation. We need to.
But you
We're
can
done. Yeah.
access from my smartphone. I can access all my files up on the Microsoft or the Google server. I don't have to have that file on physically on my phone.
Oh, so that's separate from the cloud. That's another
No,
magical
I'm
thing.
utilizing Word or Google Docs through an app up to the cloud server.
The cloud server for
Yes.
that. Okay. All right. Didn't know if they were two different things or the same entity providing multiple
The
operations.
service. So when I was talking today about the service, I first showed going out to Google Drive, and that was going in through a browser. That browser meant that I did not have to have anything on the PC. I don't even have to own a PC. I don't have to have any files on a PC or on a phone or on a tablet. That's a service up in the cloud, and I can get at it from all of my different devices.
And we're not paying file storage for that as we are in potentially in the cloud. Is that what you're saying? That's kind of,
We can talk later about it.
yeah,
No,
I
that is
think so.
cloud service. When I was talking about OneDrive or Google Drive, that's all up in the cloud. They have software that you can put on a PC. You don't have to put that on a PC. You don't have to store anything locally.
Yes. And I am coming to realize that some of these basic questions I am asking you on the side are actually inspiring you for some wonderful meetings. I thank you for the discussion, and I am really looking forward to the smart TV discussion. That has me all excited. So I appreciate everything you do, Tom, and thank you so
No
very
problem
much.
there. We can talk later then, Linda.
Yeah, and I hope you have a great week, and thanks again.
Okay, we'll see everybody. Bye.
Bye now.